archetypes that is really misunderstood about the sun in Aquarius. I actually think that the sun being in Aquarius could be one of the most misunderstood sun signs for several reasons that I'll mention later in the video. But people seem to think that Aquarius are unemotional, unpredictable. So being unemotional is really going to depend on a person's... I don't think anyone's actually unemotional actually, but anyways, the moon sign is a more of a determining factor of how a person processes or feels things. But despite whatever moon sign the Aquarius sun person might have, the reason why an Aquarius might be known to be unemotional is probably because everybody has emotions, but the sun in Aquarius person is more capable than other sun signs to kind of hold the emotions and put them in a box first until the time is right for them to take it out of the box, if you know what I mean. And the whole understanding that Aquarius people are unpredictable, Aquarius sun people are unpredictable, might not necessarily be true, because first of all, Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, which is the planet of sudden changes and unpredictability, but it's also co-ruled by Saturn, which is the planet of responsibility. So not all Sun and Aquarius people are going to be super unpredictable. Keeping in mind that Aquarius is a sign that is right between the signs of Capricorn, Sagittarius, Pisces, and Aries. So if you have a sun in the sign of Sagittarius, you could possibly have your Venus, Mercury, Mars in Capricorn or Pisces. Pisces being the most probably sensitive and emotional sign of the zodiac. Now I'd like to talk about the sun being in the sign of Aquarius. So of course the sun is one's identity and how they go about the world, just being and identify themselves as being in the world. The sun ruling the sign of Leo, Aquarius being the opposite sign of Leo, makes the sun not very strong in the sign of Aquarius, so the identity of a sun in Aquarius person is not really well defined. And what I mean by not being very well defined is that they might not really know themselves very well. They might not really know what they really like, what they really believe, things like that. And the reason why this is because the sun in Aquarius person tends to link their identity to other people. Mostly groups of people, mostly their friends, or any kind of group that they're involved in. So what happens is, when I'm a sun in Aquarius person, I feel like I kind of know this one because I have my sun in the 11th house, and I do pretty much the same thing, which is, when I'm a sun in Aquarius person is, let's say they're in a group of friends, okay, 5 people or whatever. What they're actually doing is they're observing these people, okay? They are getting a sense of who each person is at their core, okay? And what they're doing is they are identifying or not identifying with each person, okay? But most of the time, they are not going to identify with each of these people, and they are going to try to be different. They're going to try to invent an identity which might not really be their real identity, but whatever it is they're inventing is going to be something that's different from all of the people in their friend group. But at the same time, the sun in an Aquarius person is a humanitarian at heart, okay? Whatever their moon sign might be, Venus, Mars, there's a certain way of being in the world in a very humanitarian way. So they really do identify themselves with other people. That's what makes them kind of a humanitarian. So they really do understand that everyone is an individual and everyone is different, but at the same time, everyone is pretty much the same. Humans are humans. They have things that are pretty much the same, but they're also individuals. So there's kind of an irony here in that they think that everyone is the same but also different. But if everyone's the same anyways, then why are they trying to be so different? Why are they why are they creating an identity that is going to be different when ultimately we have something that's kind of the same? What the Sun in Aquarius identity ultimately becomes is themselves. So they go from not knowing really like what they don't like, but by bouncing their identity off of different people and then trying to not be these people, and then they go into a different group of people and they still try to not be any of these people. They really find out who they are by being something that they are not, if that makes any sense. So for example, they're in a group of people who are super, let's say, artistic. Everyone's interested in drawing, painting, art. But of course, being in that group, let's say there's some kind of artist as well. But they try to be a little bit different. Maybe they try to be like an artist who's like not a typical artist. So maybe everyone is just super artistic and they're like, I'm an artist, but at the same time, I'm good at math. Yeah, and everyone else is just an artist and they're not good at math, but they're like, I'm also good at math and I like math, whatever. But then they realized, maybe later on, that they don't actually like math. They're just trying to pretend that they like math so that they can be different from all those other people. So they discover who they are by pretending to be something that they're not. So they realize that they don't like math by pretending to at first like math, if that makes sense. So it's a really, really interesting place to have the sun being in. And as they mature, they begin to understand that that they are not necessarily different, but they're just themselves, and everybody is themselves. So that kind of means that nobody's really too different from anybody because everybody's just being themselves. So there can actually be the identity of the sign Aquarius person can either go in two directions, which is the more Uranus kind of identity and the more Saturn kind of identity. So with the Uranus kind of identity, there could be someone who can identify with rebelliousness or rebelling for the greater good, whereas the Saturnian kind of Aquarius sun would kind of be responsible, do responsible things for the greater good. So there's two different directions that the identity can go in. So I've actually picked a tarot card that I think is going to really symbolize the Sun in Aquarius person. And this is not from any kind of textbook or anything. This is just based on my own interpretation. I went through the cards and I looked at the meanings of the cards and which one really symbolizes the sun in the sign of Aquarius. And I have picked this card right here. Okay, this card. This is the Queen of Swords. So the Queen of Swords is really a representation of a woman who is not bounded by societal rules. She does see this, she understands the systems in the society. She understands societal rules. She understands political situations. All these things, she really has a clear understanding of them, but she is not bounded by them at all, which is a very type of what I've been talking about having the identity in the sign of Aquarius, is that they want to be different. They don't want to be like everyone else. And they also don't want to be bounded by what the society thinks that they should do, because ultimately everyone is their own independent person and everyone is a human being. So the Queen of Swords, I think, really fights for humanity, really fights for individual rights, not the complacency of people to just live every day as the society thinks that they should live. She also is a kind of person who is really going to kind of change assumptions and change the system that is currently going on for something that's going to be better and going to benefit humanity as a whole. So Queen of Swords, my Sun in Aquarius peeps. Talk about my experience with people who have their Sun in Aquarius. So I don't actually know a lot of them, but my sister has her Sun in Aquarius, and I have a very good friend who has his Sun in Aquarius. And what I tend to notice about these people is that they can either be two things. They can either be really good friends with you if they have other things that are compatible with you. And by good friend, I mean like really, really good, like really understanding of who you are as a person, as an individual. You don't have to be afraid to be weird, to be awkward, to have ridiculous opinions. They accept all kinds of human weirdness. And that's why I say that they are very good friends. But they can, if they don't have other things that are compatible with you, they can be really, really awkward. I have met people who are Aquarius that are just so awkward around me. Like they, it's like they're thinking something in their minds, and I don't know what they're thinking, but they're thinking something, and you could just be there standing next to them and there's only the two of you and they would say nothing to you. Or they could be saying something to you and then you reply and then they answer you with one word. I don't know what it is about the awkward Sun in Aquarius types, but yeah, there's two different types that I've met just from my personal experience. All of them are actually very responsible. If you expect them to be there on time, they would be there. They would get up, go to work every day, just because they feel that if they're doing a work that they think is important and it's going to benefit people, they will get up and do their work every day. How do I say this? I think it's not a serious thing, but if you tell them to do something, they will not do it, even though they want to do it. And if you tell them to not do something, they would do it, even though they don't want to do it. It's just a really funny Sun in Aquarius thing. Sun in Aquarius just, you don't know what they're thinking. And a lot of the times I feel like these people have a lot of things going on in their mind. You can't really get a grasp of it, like what's really going on in there. Maybe some crazy ideas, some weird thoughts about random stuff. I don't know. But the thing that I really appreciate about having people who have the Sun in Aquarius is that they are, like I mentioned before, highly, highly accepting of all different kinds of people, all different kinds of weird random quirks that you may have, weird ideas that you may have. They're so accepting, they listen, they understand, they can actually connect with it. Even if it's like the most like random thing, they would still be able to connect with you on that thing. So that's my take on the Sun being in the sign of Aquarius. If you are an Aquarius Sun, or if you know someone who has their Sun in Aquarius, please feel free to leave a comment below. I would love to hear all about your experiences. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please click the subscribe button to watch more cool astrology content and turn on your notifications as well, so you'll know when I post a new video. And that's all. Bye!